So we have been traveling the world for 4 years, and we have been dealing with medical insurance. So I think we should share with our viewers some of our situations, and maybe we can help people figure out how to make their decisions about their global healthcare. What do you think?
Yeah, so global healthcare is a big issue. It's a big topic, and it's an important topic for anybody who's going to be traveling outside the United States. Do you need health insurance? And we're going to answer that question.
Right.
And we're going to also talk about the different types of health insurance and what kind of coverage and what they might do for you.
Yeah, so, I love you very much. And you know what you aren't?
What? I am not.
You are not a medical insurance professional.
I am not a health insurance professional. I am not part of the health insurance industry.
Neither am I. And we just are...
Disclaimer.
Yeah. So we are just people who travel, people who use some insurance products. We have had a heck of a time, right? I mean, we've been doing this now for 4 years, and every year and doing, when we have to figure out what our medical insurance is, we have to sit down and go through all the forms and read all the policies and read all the fine print. And I think it's really funny that every year we've come up with a different solution.
Yeah. And I want to tell you just a couple things. One is last week we did a video about our experience with Genki Insurance.
Yep.
And we love for you to check that out. That's our current medical insurance policy. And because of that, we had a lot of questions and a lot of input from our viewers. So we thought, let's talk about this in general. Genki is not the only product that's out there, and it's not the only solution that's out there. Everybody's situation is a little bit different. And the other thing is that, we had this conversation, and by the way, I'm Steve. This is Chris. We are EatWalkLearn.
Yeah.
We also have a Facebook group if you'd like to continue this conversation, talking about what are the different insurance choices and what are the different things that other nomadic and other full-time travelers are doing for their health insurance. Please join us on our Facebook page, and we'll put that link below where you can come in and share that conversation with us.
And for those of you who like to read everything we're going to talk about today, we have a very extensive blog post that talks about exactly what we're talking about today on our EatWalkLearn webpage. So go to eatwalklearn.com. What we're talking about is on there. I know for me, especially when it comes for insurance, not only do I want to watch people talk about it, but I want to read about it too. So everything we're going to talk about today is written down, and you can go follow that as well.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we're going to take you back a few years. But you don't need to.
Do you have that feature that in the video that you can go like the Scooby time?
I don't know how to do that.
Maybe we'll figure it out.
But these are real life situations. They might be things that happened in the past 4 years, but they're relevant and they're current today. And again, maybe particularly relevant to you. What did we do for medical insurance as we were traveling around the world? Yeah,
well, I think a lot of people who are launching their nomad life are going to be in this situation where they have medical insurance in the U.S. Maybe they still have it with their employer. They got it through ACA. They got it through COBRA. They've got it through TRICARE. They've got it through the government. They've got some situation that they have medical care in the U.S.
Yeah,
right?
Also could still be or could already be on Medicare.
Right. But for us, you had I had retired many years before, and I was using Steve's insurance, and then he retired. Then we had COBRA for a couple months, and then the COBRA ran out,
right.
Which at the same time that we left the U.S. So when we left the U.S., we no longer had U.S. health care. Right? Okay. So because of that, we felt like we needed to have an international, global medical insurance policy that would work exactly like the medical policy that we had in the U.S. So that if we got hurt or if we got sick or we got chronic illness or acute illness, whatever, anywhere in the world, we could get treatment anywhere in the world without having to come back to the U.S.
And it was a realization at that point that was like, there's such kind of policies exist, because we thought we had to be tied to our U.S. health insurance system. Right. And we found out that there are insurance companies that will cover you wherever you are. You don't have to be in the United States. You don't have to be in any country. You can be anywhere.
And we should make the point here for all of our viewers, we're talking to Americans here. This is a U.S. situation, U.S. policies, U.S. American policies, and so on. God love you if you're an American trying to figure out insurance.
We said that once before.
Yes, we said that on our Genki video. You have a drink. I drink water. What do you drink? What are you drinking?
I drink Are we talking about what we're drinking? I thought we're talking about. I drink the local drink. This is mate.
Mate. If you don't know about, we're in Argentina. Mate is a tea. It's a very
the best way to describe it is as a caffeinated tea that tastes kind of like lawn clippings. And
you don't want to say grass because that implies something completely different.
Yeah, lawn clippings.
Anyway, moving on. So that was our first year. So we left the U.S. We needed a coverage. We went with IMG Global. There's other global medical policy companies like Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield. They all have an international policy. We went with IMG Global. Our monthly premium was about $250 a month, something like that for both of us?
For both of us. And we had a pretty high deductible.
Yeah, it was a $10,000 deductible.
Again, there's lots of different plans.
$5,000 each.
We shouldn't get into a lot of the details of it because there's so many different plans that are available, which again, I was really surprised about. Full global coverage. And did we ever use it?
Yeah, I did actually end up using it. I ended up getting, remember the knee surgery I got in Kuala Lumpur? So I ended up getting orthoscopic surgery with stem cell replacement instead of a full knee replacement. That was the solution that worked best for me. You can watch the video up here about how and my recovery and how that all went. But the total bill for that was $10,000. Since my deductible was $5,000, we submitted that to IMG and they paid their portion of it. So that was nice.
Yeah.
So I came out ahead of the game, I think, a little bit on that.
We were in Malaysia at the time.
Right.
Good news is that Malaysia is a great
medical facilities.
Care. Yeah, great medical care. Private hospital, great doctor.
They all spoke English.
Really some unique,
nice and clean,
unique care. Yeah. And the IMG global policy came through.
Yeah. And then in our second year, we were finally able to qualify for ACA. So for us, with our income, because we're retired, a lot of people, when you become retired, your income's completely changed than when you're working full-time with your full-time salaries. Ours changed drastically. And because we had launched our life and because we were living on $48,000 a year in our Nomad life, we were able to qualify for free ACA. So the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and we were able to get that.
And again, we got to talk about, your situation might vary. Right. Everybody's got a different situation. We're Texas residents. We were looking for something with a high deductible. So it's all, there's a lot of variables there. But the point is that because we were coming back to the United States.
Right.
So a global health insurance policy really didn't make sense if we're going to be in the U.S. and we can get an affordable policy in the States. Right.
So when we came back to the U.S. in our second year, I think we came back in like April or May, we canceled our IMG. And then we were just on the ACA while we were in the States because we did a lot of traveling within the States that year.
Yeah, doing a lot of traveling around within the United States. And I know we probably have a lot of viewers here. They're saying, well, I'm traveling, but I'm not traveling globally. I'm, doing more U.S. travel.
Right. So our first year, no U.S. policy, had a global policy. Second year, we're back in the U.S., had a U.S. policy, but no global policy.
Right? We were in the middle of the year when we of our second year when we had that global policy. What do we do?
Yeah, we just notified IMG that we're back in the States. We don't need the policy, and we canceled it. And they said, great. And we had paid for the year. We had paid for an annual policy, and we paid for the year because they gave us a discount. I don't know, 10% discount or something if you pay for the year. They ended up refunding us for the couple of months that we didn't use it, which was great.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty awesome to know that you were going to get a refund for the part that you didn't use.
Yeah. So then in our third year, are you still with us? I swear this all makes sense if you break it down just 1 year at a time and one scenario at a time.
Yeah, and we're just talking about a different scenario. And this one's simple. It's you're going to be traveling, you're going to be going on a trip for less than 6 months.
Yeah.
And that was the time period. And because we were traveling for less than 6 months, it was considered one trip. We went to Australia and came back to the United States for 5 months and 26 days or something. We were able to get a travel policy with medical.
Yeah, which is different. So you had a full medical policy. Now, travel policy with medical is the expectation of a travel policy with medical is you get hurt somewhere, they're going to stabilize you, and they're going to ship you back to the U.S. to finish up your care. So because we were going to Australia, because we were on one trip, it was an easily defined trip. We had a start and an end that both ended up in the same city, basically. And And we also knew that if we go all the way to Australia and we end up getting hurt and they ship us back to the U.S., we're not going to go back to Australia. In a 6-month period, we're not going to go back and forth to Australia. So we end up getting the Geo Blue Traveler Choice Plan, which was nice. What was nice about this is it included travel insurance, and that travel insurance is where you miss a flight, or your suitcase goes missing, or some travel incident happens. You're also covered for that. We didn't have to file any claims on that particular year.
Yeah, we didn't. But it was great to know that our premiums were really quite a bit lower, because this was not a full medical policy that would cover your medical needs in any situation.
Yeah, I think our premium for it was $175 a month for the two of us, something like that, $175 a month, and the deductible was $500. So fortunately, we didn't have to use any of it. We had a great year, no pains, no gains, no losses. Great year, and had a fun time in Australia.
Yeah.
So then when we got back to the U.S., we continued on the ACA. So that was our 3rd year. Now, we're in our 4th year, and this is what we talked about in our last video. And that's the scenario where we're traveling all year long. We may or may not be in the U.S., but we're doing multiple trips. And a trip is, we went. It'd be interesting to see how the insurance companies actually really define a trip in relation to us. But we feel fairly confident that if we told an insurance company that first we went to Poland, and then we went to Slovakia, and then we went to Riga, and then we went to, I don't know where we went, Turkey, and then we went to Aruba, that they'd be like, that's 9 million trips. That's not just one trip. So we want to make sure that a policy would follow us in all the countries that we went to, and we wouldn't be bound by the term trip. And because we had ACA still in the U.S., we could go with Genki. Now, Genki is who we talked about last week. They're a medical insurance policy, but they require that you have a insurance in your home country. And if you want to go back to the U.S., or you feel like you want to take advantage of your insurance in the U.S., you're in the situation that you can do that. Right?
Yeah, and you have a choice.
Right.
You have a choice. So it's not like they're going to patch you up and ship you back to the U.S. and let your U.S. insurance take care of it.
Right.
You have a choice with Genki whether you want to go back to your home country again, because it's a European company.
Right. And their overall limits and coverages are not as great as an IMG Global. So you may run out of your coverage on Genki and go back to the U.S. and continue your coverage.
However, there's only a $50 deductible, which is really nice.
Right. So our monthly premium is about $300 for the two of us, but it's a $50 deductible. And we've actually filed several claims. You can look at our Genki video, and on just some basic, really some wellness stuff. I had some eye things I need to take care of, and Steve had some cardio things he needed to take care of. And so far, Genki's been fantastic. And certainly, if you are interested more about Genki, follow our link here about how you can get a quote from Genki if you want.
So we've talked about a lot of different insurance options and a lot of ways that you can be covered fully as you travel around. We had this question, we were talking about this as we were, thinking about this particular video. Questions are like, well, what do things really cost outside the United States? And we're also, our next video, we'll set up for our next video, we're going to talk about Medicare and my decision, since I'm going to be turning 65 this year, on what kind of Medicare plan I'm going to get. But we're going to hold off for that.
Right. And I think we should point out, we said this several times, but we haven't said it in this video. When we started traveling, I was 55 or 6 or something, and you were 60. And then now I'm 58 and he's 64. So that's why these policies have worked for us. But as Steve was trying to figure out his Medicare decision, which we'll talk about next week, we were looking at the price of things around the world as he was coming to his conclusions about whether he wants to have a global medical policy to help supplement his Medicare.
Exactly.
So, see my handy dandy. I was practicing drawing dogs, and I went on my computer.
I need more mate.
I went on the internet and looked up the prices of things. So this is from the internet. Your mileage may vary. So an appendectomy. If you had to get an appendectomy, they got to yank out your appendix, emergency surgery. That's almost always, appendectomies are almost always emergency surgery. I looked at 4 different countries to see how much it would cost. So let's play a little game.
Okay.
How much do you think it cost in the USA?
In the USA,
for an
appendectomy. Do they take out the whole thing or just part of it and make you come back for the other part? No,
I think it's the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
I think it costs $15,000.
So I looked at it. They found ranges. So I just took the median number.
Okay.
The median number, $28,000 for an appendectomy in the USA.
I think I'll keep mine.
So in comparison, in Vietnam, it's $1,500.
$1,500 versus what was the first one?
It's either 25 or 28,000.
Let's say it's 20. Let's just say 25,000 versus 1,500 versus 1,500.
Turkey, 4,000.
4,000. Okay.
And in Spain, 5,000.
Oh,
so it's
Spain,
interesting. You go to Asia for 1,500. You go to Turkey's both Asia and Europe for 4,000. You go into Middle Europe, right in the center of Europe. Western Europe is 5,000 in Spain, and then U.S. is 25,000.
These are all countries that we've been to, and we plan on going back to because they're great countries to travel to, and there's so much fun.
Let's do another one.
Okay.
Because we got a bunch of old people like you on the video that have heart valve things. All the heart valve.
Now, heart valve. This is a big deal. We're talking about messing with the heart.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Okay, what do you think, Vietnam, to get a heart valve replacement surgery? Heart valve replacement surgery. This has got to be a lot more. There's no way you can do it for $1,000. Let's say 10,000. 3,000. 3,000 for a heart valve replacement in Vietnam.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
all right.
And then going on over up to Turkey.
Turkey's got to be 15,000.
You're right on. Look at you.
Look, heart valve in Turkey for 15,000.
Yeah. And then Spain. What do you think in España? El Corazón in España.
The other one, it was more. So this, I'm going to guess it's more. 18,000.
25,000.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's a bit more.
Now, y'all, I want to know. I want you to before we tell you, go down in the comments and write how much a heart valve replacement surgery is in the U.S., especially if you've had one. Write how much it's going to be, or how much you think it's going to be. Now, of course, if you have Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, whatever, this number's going to, blah, blah, blah,
that's
blah,
the thing is you've got insurance in the U.S. It should cost you what your insurance premium is minus your deductible.
But, who knows? I mean, you think your insurance is going to pay, and then they say, oh, no, the stars weren't aligned with Jupiter.
And then you have a cash price versus an insurance price.
And then you have the facility price and the doctor price and the office price and the whatever. It's really annoying. Anyway, 170,000, which is it is not even a real number. It's like, what number is that? I mean, if I pay cash, if I didn't have insurance, if I had insurance, what would the insurance number? Anyway, we could spend many hours talking about American insurance on the video. The point here is to help guide you on what type of global medical insurance you should get or should not get when you travel the world. So you either need full global medical insurance, you need travel medical insurance, you need no insurance, or you need some magical potion from the ladies in Czechoslovakia.
This is a serious conversation, and one of the options that you talked about is self-insured, I like to call it.
Yeah.
And
we're going to talk about that next week on the Medicare video.
As a possibility.
Yeah. Okay. Hope we helped you. Please ask us questions. Let us know if you've had mate. Let us know if you've had surgeries anywhere and how much those cost in those places that you've had surgery. We'd really like to hear that. Make sure you're subscribing and you're hitting that alarm, the little bell,
alert,
because that will give you an alert about when this Medicare video comes out, because we really want to have you engaged in that video too. We love you guys. We think about you all the time. I know you're virtually, you think you don't have faces, but we think we see you in our brains, and we're really glad to have you here. Hope you have a great week. Ciao.
Ciao.